Welcome to Inside Valley Politics Plus, where we take a deeper look at the political news and events affecting the Rio Grande Valley. I'm your host, Brian Svensson. Now, the primary elections happened more than a month ago, but some candidates are still running their races. Last week on our show, we had talked with the Democratic candidates running for Texas House District 41, and today we have their Republican counterparts. Here at our Stream Center is Sergio Sanchez, and joining us virtually is Gary Groves. I want to thank you both for being with us today.
Good afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
All right, so just want to start with one question, Mr. Sanchez. We will start with you, and we're going to ask you the same question, Mr. Groves. Now that you are in the runoff election, how do you move from runoff to general?
Sure. So our campaign, we did very well. We were the highest vote getter March the 3rd for the campaign, and it's something I take as a positive. But I understand completely that we reset to zero. Mr. Groves and I were lucky enough to advance. And I'm grateful for that. And obviously, nobody got to 50%. I got to 46%. And I'm proud of the work that we've done. Our campaign has grown organically up to that point, and from that point until now. And as we go forward, we have every intention of getting to over 50%. The message is clear from the voters: is to lower property tax, to have a plan, a legitimate plan to get that done, to have a reasonable path forward with the governor's work to sign these bills into law. And I'm thankful that my message is getting out. I'm the only one in the field, Democrat or Republican, that has a legitimate plan going forward that will cut property taxes in half. That message is clear regarding runaway spending, city, school board, and just the mess of money that's going and freely being spent. We do have a plan to cut these things and runaway appraisals and the things that affect everybody here in the district, really everybody in the state, but lower middle income, every income. But for sure, the bulk of the population of House District 41 is a lower in the middle income, and I have every intention of fighting for everybody in Edinburgh, Mission, Farr, and McAllen, and doing that at the Capitol. And that message is going forward. It is vibing out. Brian, I appreciate it, and thank you for the invitation today.
No, thank you for being here. Mr. Groves, same thing. How, now that you are in the runoff, how do you get the 50% in the contest versus of 2 and move on to the general election?
Yes, hi, Brian. Thank you for having me. So, yes, I plan to go out and meet with the voters. That's what I've been doing. Sergio just misspoke when he said that he's the only one with the tax plan. That's not true. I have a tax plan, and I put it out there, and he knows it. So he just misled everybody. I'm also, mostly going out and talking with people. I'm a pro-Christian, and I'm talking to the people about that. Earning their vote. I'm for eliminating property taxes. I'm also for dodging Texas. That's really important. I'm pro-business. I'm for term limits, which is very important. I'm telling people that. We should not be about career politicians. And so I'm going out there with Republicans. I have a strong campaign. And hearing what they have to say. I have a long history with the Republican Party, something that Sergio doesn't have. And that resonates well with the voters. They respect that. I didn't go into this out of convenience switching parties. He did. Again, I'm the real McCoy. I'm the real Republican here. If they want a real Republican, the choice is so clear. One thing Mr. Sanchez said was that he was promoting, and he did a video promoting same-sex marriage.
Okay,
that is not a Republican platform.
I hate to cut you off here, but I promise we are actually going to get to that very issue here in just a moment.
Okay.
What I first want to talk about is...
Well, Brian, if I could, I understood the platform to be I would be able to respond if he mentions me by name that way, and I would like the opportunity to respond.
Okay, if you could just do it briefly. We have a couple of things we need to get to.
And to say that I misled anybody is incorrect. I said with a legitimate tax plan, Gary, with a plan going forward that has a reasonable expectation of getting signed into law. So your plan, disaster of a plan called the value-added tax, or a consumption tax, as you describe it, it disproportionately affects lower income, middle income, and really this is one of these things that just goes right into the Democrats' playbook. When Republicans have a plan that to pay for government on the backs of the lower and the middle income, and that the rich are the ones that are going to benefit, you're literally delivering that, and you are speaking to it directly. So I reject that. I'm not going to have anybody, yourself, anybody at all, have lower and middle income pay for the state of Texas to the benefit of the rich. This is not a path going forward. So I did not misspeak, sir. Brian, I mentioned a legitimate plan with a reasonable expectation of getting signed into law. So I just want to be very clear on that. So again, and I'm happy to address each of Mr. Grove's contentions, and let's put it out for the voters to decide who is the more Republican or the more conservative or the more consistent. I'm happy to do it. Gary's failed all of that completely.
Okay, let's let Mr. Groves here. Yeah, yes. Please do. I'd like to hear the legitimacy of your plan.
He just called my tax plan not legitimate. Sergio doesn't even have a plan. He's just copied the governor's plan. He's trying to say it's his own, but it's not. Mine is legitimate. It will work. He's demagoguing me like a Democrat here, saying that I'm, for the rich, not for the poor. That's just, total nonsense. That's how Democrats attack people. He's showing once again he's a true Democrat.
Gary, nobody's going to sign your plan. Nobody's going to sign it, Gary. No one's going to sign it. It's never going to be law.
Sergio.
Gary, do you plan on having the lower and the middle income pay for the state government, that your plan disproportionately affects them?
That's you misrepresenting my plan. I do not.
Let's go through Google. Value-added tax cons. This is Western Europe. This is socialist form of paying for government. Gary, I'll send you the link. I'm happy to do it. These are the most obvious negatives of your value-added tax. There's not one person at the Capitol that is asking for this. I can promise you it's a dead end at the governor's desk. Good luck with that one, Gary. I'm going to fight for the lower and the middle income. I'm going to stop people like you 100% with every ounce of energy that I have, which is a lot.
All right, now we do need to move on pretty quickly here, Tim. Speaking of a tax, speaking of issues that have cropped up between the two of you, I want to first talk about the Texans for Lawsuit Reform. Mr. Sanchez, you've made a lot of hay about Mr. Groves getting the endorsement of Texans for Lawsuit Reform. And Mr. Groves, when you were on the Inside Valley Politics TV edition, you were also saying that you did not support them, but in recent social media posts have said you've done more research and find that they are more aligned with your values. Can you go over that again? Can you just tell me why Texans for Lawsuit Reform is okay now when during the primary season it wasn't?
Okay, so yes, I did my research on them. They reached out to me after the primaries, and what I really liked was that they're fighting for Texans. They're getting rid of frivolous lawsuits. They saved the Valley's medical system here. They're about to, in the 90s, doctors were being driven away. We were going to be in a horrible position. They've been fighting frivolous lawsuits, which benefits Texans. It lowers the cost.
I just want to circle back here to this real quick, because during that primary discussion that you, me, Mr. Sanchez, and Ms. Sagredo Hammond, who did not advance to the runoff, you did say that pretty forcefully that they had supported Democrats, and you kind of spoke out pretty strongly against that organization. Is it just that you have educated yourself more and found that were you wrong then? Have you been proven correct?
I wasn't wrong then. They do support Democrats, only 8%. But they support conservative Democrats who support their work, which is to oppose frivolous lawsuits. They've been tremendously successful. They're great for the state. And in doing that, it lowers the cost for consumers. Right now, they're fighting these fraudulent 18-wheeler lawsuits, as well as commercial trucks. It raises the insurance for everybody. and it also puts companies out of business. So it's when I saw that and I talked to them, they aligned. In your show, I did say that I'm against frivolous lawsuits, so they aligned with me perfectly. I feel they're a wonderful organization. And I would ask Mr. Sanchez, would he, agree with me? Because this legislation is going to come up in the legislature, that they're going to try and do something about these frivolous lawsuits against trucking companies and against commercial companies. And so that is good for consumers. If I could get Mr. Sanchez to, sign on to that with me, because it's coming to the legislature, that we will fight for that because it helps all the Texans here.
I'm sorry, which legislation are you talking about?
I agree with it.
Which legislation are you talking about?
They're about the 18-wheeler lawsuits, also frivolous ones, and also about commercial vehicles being sued, which raises the cost for all the consumers, raises insurance on the companies, puts them out of business.
Gary, what are you asking?
Wonderful work.
Gary,
they're doing wonderful work.
What are you talking about, Gary?
Mr. Sanchez to say if he would get in the legislature that he would support TLR and that legislation.
Let me just jump in here real quick, Mr. Sanchez. I'll give you a second to respond, because I know that on social media you have been very vocal in your attacks. You've referred to Mr. Groves as spineless, as a coward, but for turning around and accepting money from Texans for lawsuit reform. Can you expand on that a little bit and see?
For sure. But really the organization, replace them with anything. This man is that fast to turn his back on his principles and to flip-flop right and literally within a matter of days, completely do a 180 on his position, completely do a complete change. Gary, you're a very, very talented chameleon. Let me speak to some of these so-called conservative Democrats that they give money to. Jasmine Crockett, the most radical in Congress, that was running for Senate. She would have been the most radical senator of our 100 senators. James Tallarico, the one that beat her. These people receive money from TLR. Somebody by the name of Sarah Hammond, who famously has called for taking away people's guns and a request to expand abortion. These are not conservative anybody at all. And these are not conservative principles. And Gary, welcome to the club. Now you're in that club. And this is something that really has nothing to do with TLR. It has everything to do with just, it's that easy for this man to completely flip-flop and change direction right before our eyes. And now he's twisting like a pretzel, trying to convince, I guess, his followers that this is a good thing. I see right through it. And Gary, I've got some bad news for you. They do give money to Republicans. They give money to Republicans that they hope advance, that will be easily destroyed in a general election. That was Sarah Hammond. They got rid of that. That didn't work out. They're going to the next worst possible Republican candidate. Congratulations.
I hate to cut you off here, but we are up against a break. We need to take a quick break, and coming back, we're going to discuss some other issues that have cropped up between these two candidates, with Sergio Sanchez and Gary Groves fighting for the runoff in the Republican race for House District 41. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to Inside Valley Politics Plus. We are joined today by the two Republicans running in the runoff for House District Texas 41, Mr. Gary Groves and Mr. Sergio Sanchez. Mr. Groves, I want to go to you right now. On your social media, you have pointed out that Mr. Sanchez has said that he is in favor of, I believe the quote was, anyone can marry who they want. That's not a quote, that's a paraphrase. People can marry who they want. And you had brought this up earlier in the earlier segment, saying that this did not reflect conservative values. Do you think that Mr. Sanchez is not representative of the conservative values that you would have?
So I just want to finish off on the last segment. Mr. Sanchez said that TLR gave $5 million or $6 million, he said, to Jasmine Crockett. It's completely untrue. Another false narrative by Sergio Sanchez. He loves to make these false narratives to smear somebody and make them seem like somebody they're not. And by the way, Sergio, you took money from a group that endorses 89% Democrats. You call me out for that.
Who?
What group was that?
Flip-flopper of them all.
What are you talking about, Gary?
You took the 89% Democrat.
Who? What are you talking about?
endorsement.
Who?
You go figure it out. I know. Everybody knows.
Nobody. It's wide open.
Can I interject myself here for a second and say that I don't know?
Gary, listen to the question.
Mr. Grove, can I? Yes,
It's not true,
Mr. Groves,
Gary.
I just want to.
Excuse me, it's my turn to speak, sir. You've been interrupting me.
Mr. Groves, can you
lying,
tell us
Gary.
the group that he is? Can you tell us the group that Mr. Sanchez is taking money from?
No, he can't.
Yes. No, I didn't say money. I said an endorsement
Okay, who has he been endorsed by?
from the Hidalgo County Sheriff's Association.
I will always take the support of the men and women of law enforcement, Gary. Good luck saying.
On that for being a flip-flopper.
Yeah, good luck with shutting down the men and women of law enforcement. I will stick my neck on the line always. I am so grateful that I received that endorsement. That's the number one thing and the number one compliment I could ever receive. I worked with these men and women when I was a prosecutor. Shame on you, Gary. You should take this back immediately. Here's your chance.
I'm not taking it back.
All right. Good luck with that. To the men and women of the Hidalgo County Sheriff's Department, I stand with you without apology.
All right, let's try and turn. Can we just turn the temperature down a
Good luck with that one, Gary.
You are the biggest flip-flopper because you took an endorsement.
100%.
Endorses 89%.
100%.
Democrats. And that's
I
what
stand
you
with them.
TLR.
100%.
So you created a false narrative. He's calling me a flip-flopper. You're the biggest flip-flopper.
They're on
of
the
them all
street
here.
as we speak. Right now, they're on the street protecting us.
Can we move on to something else?
Take a pause. In fact, I'd like to not necessarily move on, but circle back to the original question was you have accused Mr. Sanchez of not having the conservative values that you value. Can you explain that a little bit and tell me why you think that he does not have these conservative
Sergio
values?
made a big video, I don't know why, promoting same-sex marriage. He's called himself a conservative Catholic, and so I can't find any Catholics or anybody that supports that position. It goes against the Texas Republican Party platform. If he were to get elected, he'd be censored. So yeah, that's,
Did you say censored?
That's what he did.
I would be censored? I wouldn't be able to speak?
Mr. Sanchez, are you in support of same-sex marriage?
Texas Republican platform by doing that.
Gary, I regret to inform you, it's the Supreme Court law of the land that same-sex marriage is legal in all 50 states. The person you should be asking is that red cap that you
Pretend to understand what that stands for. President Trump has stated clearly, it's settled law. I'm fine with it. That's my position as well. No different than the president on that cap. I've taken a peek underneath that cap. There's not a whole lot there, Gary. I don't think you understand what President Trump has said.
Mr. Sanchez, setting that Supreme Court ruling aside, how do you feel about same-sex marriage?
There's no path forward to overturning Supreme Court precedent. I think the group of people that that supports Gary is looking for a law in Texas to overturn same-sex marriage, which would immediately be invalidated based on Supreme Court precedent. Where do you plan on going with this? And how do you plan on winning in November?
Precedent gets overturned all the time. I mean,
how?
Look at Roe v. Wade. I mean, that was
a generation.
Thought it was settled law, and then
that was 50 years ago. Yeah, that was 50 years ago, sir. The year was 1973. I know the year because that's the year I was born. I'm familiar with Roe v. Wade. What has changed that would have possibly overturned Obergefell, the Supreme Court law that grants? It's a settled law, and it's going to be this in all 50 states, and this is not a states issue, it's a constitutional issue. So be it. It's settled. I agree with President Trump. Essentially, move on. Gary, where do you plan on going with this? Are you looking for a law to overturn it?
Let me, you know what, that was actually going to be my next question. Mr. Groves, if you advance to the general election, if you are elected, would you put forth a state law that would have some sort of trigger in it that says if Obergefell were to be overturned, then the same-sex marriage in the state of Texas would automatically not be allowed?
Yes, so I agree with the Texas Republican platform.
What does that mean? It's a direct question.
Are you in favor if you win election, if you become the representative from Texas House District 41, would you put forth legislation that says in the event that Obergefell is overturned in the state of Texas, there will be no same-sex marriage?
I said I agree with the Texas Republican platform, which is exactly that.
Yeah, well, good luck with that message in November. You've rendered yourself unelectable, Gary, in November. You do understand that you must win in November a seat that has never been Republican. Good luck with that message going forward. I agree with President Trump. The metaphor of the red cap that you wear, I agree with him. It's settled. I'm fine with it. Let's move on.
And speaking of moving on,
Sergio, I would just say,
I'll give you one last word, Mr. Groves, quickly, but we need to go to break.
Gets elected in November.
I can promise you, there's two people that want you to win. One is named Julio Salinas. The other's name is Sebi Haddad.
Okay, we're going to need to take a break at this point, and we will be right back with a further discussion from Inside Valley Politics Plus. Stick around. And welcome back to Inside Valley Politics Plus. We are joined today by Sergio Sanchez and Gary Graves. These are the individuals running in the Republican runoff for Texas House District 41. And for this last break, I want to give each of our guests the chance to close out their arguments. But I have a multi-pronged question. Is that I want to know, what is your strategy to move on to the general election? And I want to know, if there is real animosity here, how does the winner of the runoff bring about their Republican colleagues? Mr. Groves, I'll start with you.
Yes. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Okay, because I'm getting a phone call as this is happening. I'm just wondering why that keeps happening. Anyway, so there is a path forward for a good conservative Republican. President Trump won this district 52%. I have a long history of being a Republican, of being a MAGA Republican. I've been involved with the trains. They've endorsed me. I have tremendous Republican endorsements. Both the leaders of the Republican Party for our area have endorsed me, Melissa Nur and Chuck Burnett. That's huge. I have other, Benito Trevino, the ex-Starr County chair. I have a long line of Republican leaders, Doc Guerra, Oscar Rosa, who have endorsed me. So yes, that combination, what we saw with Trump, and who know me from the Trump train that's endorsed me, with I would say conservative Democrats and Republicans who are by and large MAGA, that combination, which I've been such a long history of being part of, can win the district. It's already been proven, 52%.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Groves. I apologize. We are up against a hard deadline here. Mr. Sanchez, about 90 seconds to tell me why you think voters should choose you, and how, after a contentious primary, you bring along other people who might not have supported you into the general.
Yeah, so the issue is electability, and who has the better chance of winning in November of a hotly contested, probably I would say the number one hotly contested state race in the state. For sure, this is ground zero of a flippable seat. The governor has said so himself. And who has the best chance to win? Who has a chance to build a coalition going forward, which means you're going to have conservative principles. You're not going to twist in the wind and take money from this group, TLR, and completely flip-flop. You're not going to see that of me. And if you're looking for someone to backpedal, but that's not me. That's what Mr. Groves has done. But going forward, what do I plan to offer in a general election?
A tax plan that means an average savings to Texans of $200 a month per household. That's a very big difference when you can cut your property tax in half. That's the plan that I have worked out. And that is the plan. It goes even further than the governor's plan regarding out-of-control appraisals and restricting appraisal boards, and you're really getting into the weeds of that. The average is $200 a month. In addition, it's not the value-added tax.
I would just ask anybody to please research that. Completely regressive, impacting the lower and the middle income. That's Mr. Groves' tax plan to nowhere. Tax plan to nowhere.
Sanchez, I appreciate your time. We've got less than a minute left, but I do want to ask one final question. Very short answer. Like I say, less than a minute left. And I just want to ask each one of you individually, when this is over, after May 26th, after the runoff election is done, can you two shake hands and move forward?
I'll shake Gary Groves' hand, and I've done so all along this campaign trail, and things can get heated, and this is the crucible of ideas. Gary, I'll shake your hand. I've done so from the beginning, even if we butt heads sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. I can shake his hand. I helped form a PAC, Republican PAC, which will help the winner of this race.
I want to thank you so much. Apologize. We are up against the end of the show. Want to thank everyone for watching Inside Valley Politics Plus. Sergio Sanchez, Gary Groves running in the Republican runoff, May 26th for House District 41. We'll see you right back here next week.
Thank you, Brian.